12th of December 2012. A 17-year-old me, absolutely ecstatic to be returning to the world of Middle-earth, took a seat to watch The Hobbit, an unexpected journey. I heard there had been behind-the-scenes trouble. I knew Guillermo del Toro was on board to direct, but then he wasn't. And then they drove dump trucks full of money to Peter Jackson's house, and then he took the helm. I knew they were planning to stretch one pretty short novel into a sprawling 3-part saga to rival Lord of the Rings, one of the greatest film franchises of all time. But I was confident that the return of Peter Jackson, the return of the brilliant world from Tolkien, the return to Middle-earth itself, that this would be amazing. I was so wrong. Fast forward to 2020, or whenever I started editing this project, these 3 films, these 9 hours of overcomplicated yet underdeveloped trash, have been a constant and unrelenting curse on my life. I adored the Hobbit book, I cherished the audiobook even more, and I was sure that somewhere hidden amongst this pile of badly written, tiresome, CGI-covered mess, there was a legitimately fantastic adventure. I made it my mission to find this hidden masterpiece. And did I succeed? Fuck yeah, I did. Right, so the 4-hour 20-minute edit is actually available in the link in the description, so you can go and watch it right now. You can save it for later, you can watch the rest of this video first, or you can watch it after. But yeah, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive of the changes, you know, some of the stuff I took out, some of the stuff I left the same because it was great, like that Gollum scene, the first Gollum scene, it's great. Anyway, yeah, the link in the description, download it, share it with your friends. This isn't piracy, I'm not making money off this, don't sue me, please God. Do not sue me. I have so little money to my name. You can try. Nothing will come of it. You know, we're all good. Let's get on. Let's get on with the show, shall we? I guess the best place to start for the changes I've made is the intro. When you watch The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, you get a brief glimpse of Ian Holm as Bilbo, and then you are absolutely bombarded by pointless Middle-earth history. You get Thrain and his history, and then you get the history of the dwarves and their treasure, and then you go and meet Thranduil and the elves, and then we go to Dale and meet all of the villagers before they're absolutely incinerated by dragonfire. Now, I get why they did this, as in the theatrical release you don't see Smaug at all in this movie, so I get they wanted to tease the big bad of the next 2 movies, but you don't need 20 minutes of exposition. You don't need to be introduced to every guild and creed and race and faction. We need to start with our main character, and preferably not an extra 7-minute section with a second cousin twice removed. So you remember from Lord of the Rings, right? You remember him? You remember Frodo? Remember, we need to start at the start of the movie. So that's what we do in the 4-hour 20 edit. We start at the beginning of the movie, albeit with a tiny glimpse of Ian Holm for that little nostalgia bubble, but that's all you need. And then we're off into the story of Bilbo Baggins. Oh, also like and subscribe. I forgot to say like and subscribe. Go and do that. That'd be great. Thank you. So, moving through the movie from here, we stay pretty true to the theatrical release, with the introduction of Gandalf, Bilbo, talk of adventure, and the introduction of all the dwarves. I obviously kept That's What Bilbo Baggins Hates, because it's an absolute tune.
Don't crush the boiling bowl, pound them up with a pumpkin bowl. When you're finished, they take a hole. Send them down the hole to roll.
However, upon leaving the Shire, the changes start to get a little more obvious. By the way, in the original release, it takes us over 40 minutes to leave the Shire. In the edit, we're on our way out at just over 20. There is so much fat to trim from this trilogy, it is insane. 40 minutes into the original, and half of it has gone straight in the bin. I was adamant that we did not need the CGI orc bad guy. First off, if he's going to be in your movie, get an actor, makeup, practical. You did it for Lord of the Rings, do it now. But that's beside the point. I knew that we did not need him. We didn't need the pale orc. His bloody history with Thorin just gives the original trilogy a bloated and distracting side arc. He's still around as a generic orc bad guy, pops up here and there throughout the edit. We kept Thorin's badass fight with him at the end there's still much more focus on Bilbo Baggins, which is what this film is about, which is what this film should be about, and is what I've tried to capture in the edit. So, in the edit, the orcs are gone, mostly. Now, next up, because going chronologically through this is just going to take forever, we're going to jump around a bit. Somebody, God, please tell me why anyone thought it was a good idea to make Galadriel a thing. Galadriel? Gandriel? What would their couple name be? I don't know or care. It's stupid. It's so stupid. It's a totally fictitious relationship made up entirely so we can drag this into 3 movies. These characters don't need that. No one needs to see these characters in this situation, and in fact, it detracts from their characters. You could argue that it gives them some humanity, but we already got that for 3 films in a way that was absolutely fantastic and not shoehorned in at all. You'll see that decisions being made to drag this into 3 movies is a common occurrence, so heads up for that. But yeah, Gandalf and Galadriel, pointless relationship side story, gone. Speaking of pointless love interest that was shoehorned into this movie to pad out the runtime, let's have a little look at the Toriel and Keeley romance. There's not actually really much to say here, apart from that it's so deeply woven into the story for some reason that it was a bitch to edit around, but we did it. The weird elf-dwarf romance is now totally gone. Radagast, he's gone as well, because it's my God. He's gone. Radagast is gone. Anything that brings Saruman into it is pretty much gone as well. And of course, Legolas has gone because he doesn't belong in this movie. I mean, you remember Lord of the Rings? We've got Frodo, we had Elijah Wood, we got Orlando Bloom. You remember Lord of the Rings? Give us your money, please. Every one of these characters was just added into this movie to pad it out, just to turn it into 3 films to get more money. I can't think of any other reason. Why? If you know, let me down. Let me. Fucking hell. If you know, let me know. Tell me in the comments. Tell me why they would bring Orlando Bloom or Elijah Wood or start doing the whole Saruman side story and Galadriel, Gandalf kind of bullshit. The Toriel Keeley stuff. Why is any of this in this film? It's just not needed. So, in the 4-hour 20... Jesus Christ, I need to calm down. This has got me really irate. In the 4-hour 20-minute edit... You don't have any of this. You don't have any of these characters that were just needlessly added in. It's just the story of Bilbo Baggins and the dwarf and Smaug, and then there's a fight at the end because you know the 5 armies. Whew. All right, let's carry on. Next up, so one of the things that I actually kept the same is, of course, the scene with all of the rock giants. You know the one I mean. It's on the screen right now. You know it. You recognize it. That's really cool. It's actually something they expand upon something that's in the book, and they make it a little bit more grandiose. They give it a little bit more detail, and that's what you should be doing with these kind of adaptations. If you want to make it longer, take something that's in the book a little bit that it's just hinted at, and just, you know, make it look really cool. The CGI, even though in a lot of this film it is just a hot pile of steaming trash, the CGI for these rock giants is actually pretty good. It holds up pretty well. It's a tense scene. You know, Bilbo's gone, but then he's saved, but then Thorin gets him, and then he's going to fall, but then he's saved. There's that bit where half of the company's nearly destroyed, but then they're all right and they're all okay in the end. And then after that, they go through into the cave, and the cave eventually opens up and they fall into the goblin kingdom in the mountain. That's also a really cool scene in the book. It's just really cool, you know. It opens up and they're like, oh yeah, it's all totally fine in this cave. This cave's totally fine. We've definitely checked it out. Don't light a fire though, because Thorin knows what's up. But yeah, and then it's tense. It's cool. It's tense. It's cool. I kept it. It's one of the things I kept. I did have to cut out. There is a brief in the original, in the theatrical release. There's a brief mention of the Pale Orc. He's tracking them through the mountains or something. That's flashed up on screen a little bit. It's not important. I cut it out. You can see here the difference between the old one and the new one.
Here. Right then. Let's get a fire started.
No fires. Not in this place. Get some sleep. We start at first light.
We were to wait in the mountains until Gandalf joined us. That was the plan.
Plans change. Bofa, take the first watch.
Kostakun orkir gehir harnus.
We were to wait in the mountains until Gandalf joined us. That was the plan.
Plans change. Bofa, take the first watch.
So as you can see, little edits like that help it become more streamlined, I think. Help us keep our focus on those main characters. I left in some of the sound effects, that thunderclap and echo, just to add to some of the danger. You know, something's hiding in the shadows, but we don't quite know what. And of course, got rid of the pale orc because we don't need him. Now, I'm aware this video is starting to get a little lengthy, so the last point I'm going to touch on in detail for now is the original theatrical conclusion of Five Armies / The Hobbit trilogy. It would have been so easy for Peter Jackson to close this trilogy with a beautiful wide shot of Bilbo returning to the Shire whilst we're here concerning hobbits. The super joyous track from Fellowship sounds like this. And wrap it all up with a nice, neat bow. Leave the audience to imagine Bilbo's coming years up until Fellowship of the Ring. Instead, what we got was a glimpse at a perfect conclusion, and then an extra 15 minutes of Bilbo's house being cleared out because everyone thought he was dead, but it's all fine because we as an audience know that the real treasures were the friends he made along the way, or whatever the fuck. But come on, man, we've just been watching this story for like 10 hours. Just close it down. I'll give you a glimpse of the edit ending right now.
You needn't worry about that ring. It fell out of my pocket during the battle. I lost it.
You're a very fine person, Mr. Baggins. But you're only quite a little fellow. In a wide world, after all.
You see, doesn't that just make you want to go out and watch Fellowship immediately? I love the contrast too between Bilbo leaving the Shire and this also being the last shot of this edit. The original theatrical ending is so drawn out, it's painful. I mean, the last couple minutes is just the start of Fellowship from a different angle. We get it, you know? It's a prequel. We remember Lord of the Rings. Stop it. We're probably going to go watch Lord of the Rings anyway, without you bait and switching us the first couple of minutes of Fellowship. You've tricked me, Peter Jackson. You've tricked me into watching some of Fellowship of the Ring from a camera angle where I can't see what's going on, and I don't like it. Before we wrap up, I do want to give an honourable mention to the Gollum scene, which is done really well, even if it's way too bright for a cave under the mountain, and an honourable mention to the whole dwarves getting captured by the elves and Bilbo helping them escape by using the ring. Super cool sequence. I wish this bit didn't exist, but, you know, in the edit, it doesn't, so happy days. I also want to give a dishonourable mention to Lake Town, just in general. On the whole, don't really like anything to do with Lake Town. There's still a fair bit of Lake Town shenanigans in the edit, but a hell of a lot less than in the theatrical versions, which is a good thing. And that's pretty much it. That's that. Please go out and watch the edit. You can find it in the link in the description. Just tack it on at the start of your next Lord of the Rings marathon. Get the Bilbo prequel in 4 hours, not 12. Get it with all of the shit taken out. It'll be fun. I also want to say that if you like the theatrical Hobbit movies, that's fine. Taste is subjective. I'm not attacking you for that. This edit was created on my personal preferences and edited to my taste. It's how I wanted the movie to turn out, sort of. Hopefully some of you guys will enjoy it too. If any of you show interest in this edit, then I'm fully up for doing a much longer breakdown, going into the real nitty-gritty of stuff, how I edited Legolas out of fight scenes, that kind of thing, some musical choices I made, how I got from one movie to the next without it being really weird. So if any of that interests you, then please like, subscribe. Apparently there's a little fucking bell somewhere you can click. I don't know what it does. I don't think anyone actually knows what it does. But if you could do that, that would be great. Ed Harris here. I just made the thing you watched. Thank you for watching. Make sure you actually go and watch the actual 420 edit. It's really good. It does its job very well, if I say so myself. I want to apologise for taking so long to get this out. I've absolutely zero drive or ambition to do anything. So to get this out is pretty big. So I hope you enjoy it. Share the actual thing. Share this video with your friends, and then share the actual link with your friends and family and loved ones, because I don't know how to put this out into the world. So it's up to you now. Go, internet, go. Spread the word. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, like and subscribe in case I ever do anything ever again. I might not. But that's it. Cheers.